Hello guys, girls, and whole new worlds. Welcome to episode 7 of our podcast, Character Crashers, where we discuss both popular and obscure media that we enjoy and come up with character concepts surrounding the fandoms. My name is Colin.
I'm Morgan.
And I'm Taylor, and today's media of choice is Avatar the Last Airbender.
Aired by Nickelodeon and making its first debut in 2005, Avatar the Last Airbender engages you in a world divided into 4 nations, based on the 4 primary elements: water, fire, earth, and air. Following the disappearance of the Avatar, the world's symbol of peace and master of all 4 elements, the nations are plunged into warfare as the Fire Nation strikes against the rest of the world. 100 years pass, with the war still raging on. All hope in the world seems lost until siblings Sokka and Katara discover Aang, a 12-year-old boy frozen in an iceberg. We come to be introduced to him as the Avatar. As the hope of the world, Aang works alongside his friends to master all 4 elements and defeat the Fire Nation. The gang meet many friends and allies along the way, but have their fair share of challenges to face, with the ultimate goal being to defeat the Fire Lord and bring balance to the world. Avatar the Last Airbender displays themes of found family, trust, and hardship, while developing its characters along the way. This amazing story of benders and non-benders creates a world that pulls the audience in and makes them want to see more.
For Avatar the Last Airbender, I have my OC, Kitsune Katsei, which I now know her first name is technically supposed to be pronounced Kitsune, but she was one of my early OCs back when I didn't know how certain written words were pronounced, like anime or anemone. Another thing is that since Kitsune is an early original character that I haven't thought about in a little while, she's not all that developed. So some of the basic things you need to know about Kitsune Katsei are as follows. Kitsune is a firebender, and she's also childhood friends with Zuko. She actually helps him at some point in the story, but I'm not sure exactly when she would show up. Kitsune was also made with the idea of being Zuko's love interest, despite the fact that I guess he already has a love interest in the show. No hate on May, she's a great character. Alright, and now we're moving into our unscripted section where we just brainstorm. Yes. If you hear tape in the background, that's Taylor.
She is currently working on a project.
Yep. Yes. So
multitasking.
Yeah, so don't mind her. Well, mind her, but don't mind the noises she's making. But anyway.
All right.
So, to go about this, we decided it would be, what is this, tape ASMR?
I thought I was going to make a louder noise into the mic, and it didn't. Is that double-sided tape?
Yep.
Amazing. All right, anyway. All right, so, Avatar the Last Airbender. So, I believe we said we wanted to start with the...
Yeah, so what we're doing basically is very similar to how we did the FNAF episode, but not really, is we're planning on doing another wheel, because the thing with Avatar the Last Airbender, as Colin described in the summary, was we have different bending styles, and then there's also people who don't bend. So it's like, there's fire, water, earth. We can't do air because Aang's the only one.
Which would defeat the purpose because it's called Avatar the Last Airbender.
And then we have the non-benders. So,
and we also can't do chi blocking.
Yeah, so there's other techniques that are a part of the show, like chi blocking and metal bending, but those are basically created at some point within the show
by a specific character that we know.
So we decided it would like defeat the purpose if we had somebody who could do that, so we're kind of holding up.
That's a later thing if we want to do it in the Korra episode down the line.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a Legend of Korra episode, so that's like a later thing.
Oh, right, so...
Hold on. So, once again, basically, Colin made a wheel again for this. It's water bending, fire bending, earth bending, and then we also have non-bending. So why is Iroh in the middle of the wheel?
Oh, don't worry about it. He's just his beautiful self. And then if you'd also like to take a look at... and we're going to put the wheel on the video. Because that's the picture Taylor and I decided on.
Are you screen recording the...
Yeah, I'm going to screen record the wheel.
So Colin's going to screen record the wheel, and we'll pop it up like about right now.
Yeah.
And
we are
we're gonna
spinning
spin the wheel. Yeah, let's
wheel.
Figure out what we're doing. I have an idea for like everything but non-benders, so yay!
All right,
firebending.
We're getting firebending. All right, we clearly on that based on that reaction have such a prejudice on this. Like we're so pro firebending for this.
God. I do at least, because did you hear that my already existing OC
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Firebender?
Hell yeah, let's go fire.
Fire manipulation is my favorite power. So you know what? Yes. Okay. So I know you guys said you had some firebending stuff that you were discussing that you want to talk about. So
yeah, you can
let's let them go first.
Okay, so Taylor and I, actually on the way to record this, had a mini brain blast of an idea if we were to land on fire, which in this case kind of works out in our favor. Actually, Taylor, you want to take the wheel on this? How did we start this idea?
We started this idea of I was thinking about firebending, and I was thinking about specifically the Ember Island.
Ember Island players.
Yeah. And I was like,
Ember
well,
Island players. I
what
don't
would
remember
be
these
a really cool
It
take would be to have one of like the like basically like a theater kid be a
Oh,
Yeah,
Ember
but-
Island
yeah.
players. Yeah, okay, got it. So theater kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Theater kid.
So the rest of the thought behind this was theater kid, but because Fire Nation and war going on, the parents, or at least the father, wanted the kid to go into the army and, fight in the war, but he never wanted to fight. He just wanted to be a theater kid.
Or actually, now that I'm thinking about it, what if he tries to hide his powers because he knows that if he shows off his firebending, he's going to get enlisted?
I feel like even if he didn't
His
show off his
parents
firebending,
would
he
be
would
like-
still go into the war, because there were definitely soldiers
earlier
who
that there
didn't
were
have
people who
firebending.
didn't have bending that were still
Yeah.
a part of the war. Yeah.
There were, like, we
but
saw
I feel
plenty of
like-
soldiers
I feel
fight
like
without
if you're
firebending.
a firebender, you're gonna
Obligated?
Yeah, you're obligated.
Not
to.
necessarily.
I feel like
Yeah.
you get in trouble.
Not necessarily, because I mean, in the third arc of a story, in the third book, we do see the gang go into the Fire Nation territory, and there's plenty of firebenders who are like in the towns and stuff who actually have like actual jobs.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like there was that butcher when Aang resorted to eating like dumpster lettuce because he's a vegetarian.
Yeah, because apparently firebenders are all meat eaters, which is fair.
Which
Makes so
kind of
much
makes sense though.
But anyway.
Anyway. So, is that an idea we want to work with for this?
Yeah.
That's fine. Can I just read my idea for
Oh,
Firebender
yeah, of
real
course.
quick? Because
Yeah.
I just want to be fun with this. So I like how we all had the idea of like Firebender, but like not generic Firebender, because I feel like the generic Firebender is like either like a noble or like a warrior, soldier type thing. Are you okay? Your brain just looked like you.
Me?
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I was just staring at the screen. I'm good.
So yeah, but like looks like we kind of went around the route of like not entirely that aspect, because you guys did theater kid. Something that I find interesting is like, again, firebender, they do fire from like the heat within their body, stuff like that. They expel heat. What do you need fire for? Glass blowing. I thought this would be an interesting aspect. I don't have much on the idea of this character. Glass blowing was like the main thing. And then the other thing that I was thinking was like this person could have like a potential injury that makes them a liability, and that's why they're not a part of the war. Because I feel like, again, we stated there are people who are firebenders that have actual jobs, but I feel like if you have like a physical injury that makes you not useful to the war, you're even less likely to be added as a soldier. So like the two things that I had specifically was like some sort of spinal injury, so that they're in like a wheelchair or they're on crutches or something. And then the other thing was that the potential that they could be blind, which I'm realizing now we have at least one character for each of these that already exists. Toph is blind, and then there was that one kid who had a wheelchair.
Oh my god, wait. Can I go on a
What?
little side idea based on what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know of a kid in the Mechanist's son, I think his name was like Teo or something.
Okay.
How he adapted like the airbending style of gliding on his wheelchair. What if there was like kid in a wheelchair in the Fire Nation, like based on your idea? What if they used the Mechanist's idea for like the Fire Nation blimps and attached like a small one to his chair so he could fly using a mini blimp?
Yeah,
But
but
use
that
as
would
like the
only-
fire to like propel him.
Yeah, but that would only work if the character is like the mechanic or whatever, like basically like works with.
Well, I mean, they did force him to build all that other stuff for them, including the war balloons.
Yeah, I know, but still. But we're specifically doing fire.
Yeah, no, I know.
Anyway, but yeah, so do we
Sidetrack.
want to do? I'm down for the theater kid one if you want to.
I kind of want to go theater kid route.
We can do theater kid route.
Theater kid disapproving dad because he wants his son to fight. Or daughter.
Okay, concept.
Wait,
I'm
down.
Yeah,
for
are we
it.
going he?
I'm going
Okay,
he.
yeah, I just realized we've been saying he, but we never specifically decided on a gender.
I see this as a he. I can
Yeah.
see this as a he.
But yeah, no, I have an idea.
Because I feel like, no offense to women,
no
I am a
offense
woman.
to women.
I feel like
It's a wild statement.
Guys,
feel
you heard
like-
it from more.
I feel like the people, the soldiers more so for the Fire Nation were mainly men.
Yeah.
So I guess it would make more sense.
It would make more
would,
sense if
it
it was.
would.
There's that one woman guard in the prison when
Yeah.
Oh,
Sokka
yeah.
and Zuko go
Yeah,
undercover.
but I feel like the soldiers that
only
were
woman
actually
guard.
part of the war were mostly men. So I feel like if it's a guy who's a theater kid, and then that makes sense for him, like not wanting to be a part of the war and his parents being against that, stuff like that.
So question.
Yeah.
Does he try out for the Ember Island players?
I hope to.
And
oh my
for-
god!
and
What
for
if he
which
tries out
character?
and then
For
he
wh-
doesn't get in?
Yeah, what if he was the one that tried out for Zuko and he didn't get in?
I would rather he not try
That
it
would be
because
so
that
funny,
play was
though.
absolute
That would
shit.
be
It was
so-
absolutely
No,
shit, but it was
because you know
funny,
what?
except for Top's character, Bat Rule.
No, because you want to know what would be funny?
Yeah.
If this kid was an absolute theater kid, he would see this play and see how absolute garbage it is.
Or what if this is where he got
he was
his
a-
start and then realized how dumpster fire this was?
Yeah, but then that would mean he's very late in the show, and then
Yeah,
what
true,
else would
true.
he be a theater kid in? I feel like he needs to have an early start to his theatering before we even consider that.
Oh, wait, we hear Zuko mention that his parents used to take him all the time to see Love Amongst the Dragons. What if he starred in that or
Ooh.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd
what if
be
he
fun.
had a child role in that, and then that was him getting into theater.
You know what's another thing that I'm thinking of? Okay, so I know I watched Dragon Prince with you. Taylor, do you know Dragon Prince? You're aware of it,
I'm
at least?
aware of its existence.
There is a specific scene in very late series. This isn't really a spoiler, so it's fine if I talk about this. There's these fire related characters who have these dancing ribbons that catch a flame.
That's cool.
I think
like
that would be a really cool aspect of if the character would be able to do something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Some sort of fire dancing ribbon type of
Yeah.
technique. That would also be
Yeah.
really cool to include, I think, in the Dance of Dragons, because we've never actually seen the Dance of Dragons.
We just know it
play.
exists.
We just know it exists. But imagine a character using the fire.
I have an idea off that, but you sound like you were going to say something?
I was gonna say, I feel like that might have been a scene in the comic, where we see a short portion of the play. Usually what they do is ribbons and stuff. I don't think they actually use actual bending in the plays at all.
Imagine even if they don't use actual bending though, they just catch the ribbons on fire and then he's just...
Hear me out. What if the ribbon is part of his outfit, like a waistband, and then when he goes to, he whips it out from around himself and lights it aflame?
That would be
Yeah,
cool.
that'd be super cool.
So that could also be a part of his attire.
See,
Yeah.
what I was thinking before, a while ago, I was thinking that maybe he kind of hates his firebending and doesn't fully embrace it until post-war, or a good decent portion. I don't know. I was thinking it would add character depth, being I hate the thing that I have that my parents tell me.
he doesn't like the war.
Got
Yeah,
it.
He doesn't
the
approve
war.
of what
He
the
doesn't
Fire
like
Nation's
the
doing
war.
to the rest of the world.
Associates his firebending with
the war.
yeah,
Yeah.
and with violence.
And that also makes sense because if he has a hard relationship with his parents because of him being a firebender and wanting to be a part of the war, that would also cause conflict. So that would make sense to be if it's partially because of the war, partially because of what his parents expect of him that he doesn't like
Yeah.
his firebending.
yeah.
The other thing is I like the idea of once the war is over, he starts accepting his firebending more. Either once the war is over, or potentially he uses his firebending as during a practice or something. For
Oh
the
my
play,
God,
and then
wait.
somebody is you should totally use that in the play. I feel like if somebody accepts him for it.
I'm totally getting flashbacks to Endeavor and MHA,
Oh god.
where it's Todoroki associated with the fire to the violence of his dad and his quirk. This is totally where that just went. You can't tell me it's
no,
not.
it definitely
Alright.
is where.
All right.
And we are taught through Zuko
What I
that
feel like we-
firebenders are taught to bend through their anger.
Yeah.
So it just I don't associate a very peaceful.
Just
person.
imagine.
Never.
No, but just imagine this kid trying to avoid using his bending because he doesn't like the war and he doesn't want to fight people and he's a theater kid, and then he one day is uses his fire for something during the play, and not during the play, but during one of the practices or something, or just even just
Or he accidentally triggers it for some reason.
or just even doing something for himself at one point, and then somebody is you should totally use that in the play, just something like
Yeah.
that. I feel if he gets some positive reinforcement for his fire use, then he'll be more likely to use it and be more open to
being, I think it would just be better if he has some positive reinforcement.
Do we want to talk about a name for this character?
I think we should wait until we have him.
Wait until we have a little more fleshed out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where in the story do we want him to come in?
I feel like he probably lives on the island.
Does he live on Ember
Lives
Island?
in the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
Or
well,
on
not
Ember
the
Island.
Fire Nation, but Ember Island specifically.
Is Ember Island specifically the theater area?
I mean, it's like an actual island, but it has the theater on it. Like, that's where it originates, which is how they get the name Ember Island Players.
Yeah, and also it gives us a good opportunity to... I'm walking away from the mic. It gives us a good opportunity to, I guess, make a short, brief connection to when Zuko was a kid, and possibly like that, and then a short connection later on when the Avatar gang goes to the island.
Would this kid be around? I'm trying to think about this timeline-wise. We said that Zuko went to this specific play with his mother, right?
Yeah.
With his mother when he was a kid. So is this character that we're doing, is he also a kid?
I think
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is he like the same age as Zuko, or is he like a little bit younger?
I think let's make him same age as Zuko,
Same
so make him
age.
16.
Yeah.
Because then we can have him like kind of grow alongside Zuko in terms of like the timeline and stuff.
Imagine if they know each other.
See, that's what
That'd be
that
kind
would
of
be
cool.
cool.
So like he's got that connection to Zuko would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would
And
be
I also think
interesting.
it would just be really interesting to like have that kind of dynamic established.
Yeah, because you know how like Zuko would see Azula playing with May and Ty Lee when they were little, so like they had their little group.
Yeah.
We never really see
didn't have a lot
Zuko with
of
kids of
friends.
his own, so maybe this was like a friend of his he saw every once in a while.
Yeah, not very often, but it
Yeah.
was still like very nice when they got together.
Could you imagine though, like, what if what's his name? Zuko's dad, who's evil. Who's,
Ozai?
Oh,
Yeah,
Ozai?
Ozai. What if Ozai finds out about like this pacifist actor who's hanging around his
son is like bad influence.
Bad influence.
Bans him from seeing
Get out
him.
of here.
That would be so funny. Like bans him from seeing his son. That would
Or forcibly enlists him.
Oh god, no.
That would be dramatic.
Oh god.
That's dramatic as hell, but I...
What if he does force enlist him, and then like how I was saying with the character idea I had was like he then got like injured or something, and then he's not able to be in the war anymore. But like even if he has the injury, maybe he's still able to like perform with it.
If he has an injury, I kind of have an idea of who we could make give him the injury.
Okay.
And just because I hate this guy, I want to immediately say Zhao.
Oh yeah, Zhao.
I feel like it would be Zhao.
What, like as a punishment thing?
As like some kind of
Like
punishment.
an insubordination punishment thing? Okay, but like
Because Zhao
what
is the
kind of-
type to react badly
would.
to small things.
What kind of injury are we talking here, though?
I'm thinking maybe a burn. I wouldn't say anything as far as like an amputated limb.
Why not?
But
That's every single one of our characters.
we have
We don't have a lot of amputees.
No, but I feel like the idea comes up a lot.
The idea comes up every single episode.
I mean, it's kind of fun. I mean, it's a fun idea, but like, I feel like we can't
I
start
just like
amputating
prosthetic
characters.
limbs.
What was the last?
Yeah, but I don't think they were
character that had an
technologically advanced to really do that in Last Airbender.
I'm sure they had a way to make it.
I mean, we see people with like.
I'm sure prosthetic limbs
Yeah.
were a thing. Are you
But
just
not, like,
really
advanced.
fascinated with prosthetic limbs?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I like the idea.
But then,
of
how is he
creating
going to use the ribbon? I mean, I guess he's got his other hand, but
I wasn't saying it was a prosthetic hand.
Oh, you were
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
it
true.
was
I was
thinking a
prosthetic
leg.
leg.
I was thinking a leg.
I feel like that's going to be harder for him to dance or do
No,
anything
but
else
that's
with a
the
prosthetic
thing,
leg.
though, because there are people with prosthetic legs who learn to do things that they would be able to do naturally with just regular legs.
Hear me out, hear me
They have
out.
to work through it.
Prosthetic spine.
Oh god.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's teetering into unfeasible.
No, but like if you have a character who like has a prosthetic leg, then he has to relearn how to do certain things like dancing, specifically for his act, and then just imagine how much more he's grown from it.
Actually, you know what? If we do go the leg route, I kind of almost picture, you know, like Hiccup in How to Train Your Dragon, his kind of metal leg. I can picture something along the lines of that in terms of a style of like
Yeah, I can see that. No, because like
how they make it
I was
for that
thinking
time period.
I was thinking like very intricate design, but I guess like of that time, like a very intricate designed
Yeah,
prosthetic wouldn't be
that's
very
why they had to
well.
hire the mechanist in the first place, was to make them like the more advanced war machines and
Yeah,
other.
but I'm like also
tools
thinking
and
like
things.
there was a character in recent Miraculous Ladybug episodes who I think her name was I don't remember what her name is. I'll have to look at it later. But basically she has prosthetic legs, but she's still like a track star. She's absolutely a track star. And it's like, and she has like the intricate prosthetic legs, but then she also has like the one specific for running. So what if it's like he has two different ones, because I know Hiccup in movie 2 was able to switch between riding leg and walking leg. Like it was like a flip switch. But like, what if it's just like, it doesn't need to necessarily be two different legs. It could just be, he has, while it's a very like shoddy design for the leg, he's still able to figure out how to use it in order to still be able to perform. I just like the idea of like somebody who has a struggle with like, I just like the idea of somebody working through the struggles of life.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And if anything, Avatar is
Also,
the type of world that would be like...
Yeah. Also, I feel like it would be too much if we have Zhao give the kid a scar, like a burn scar, because then isn't that literally just what Zuko has?
That's
Kind of, but it also depends on the placement of it.
I guess.
Because, I mean, Zuko's scar on his face was supposed to be a permanent reminder of, like, when he looks in the mirror, or just, like, his father's hate.
Also, I was thinking more of, like, the prosthetic limb of, like, if he got injured in the middle of a battle, not if he was getting injured through punishment. So I feel like Zhao going as far as taking off a kid's leg would be not fun.
Yeah, I don't see him going that far.
Yeah, so I guess the burn scar makes sense, but what if it's like, I want it to be something that like affects his performing and he has to work through it. Like what if
the
like,
burn's on his leg?
I wasn't thinking about on his leg, I was thinking like down his back or something.
Oh, wait, I actually kind of like that.
Because that like affects I feel like that would like affect your spine and the way that you bend
the way you move your back and it pulls on your skin and stuff and your muscles.
So he'd have to find a way to work through that.
Okay. Taylor, what do you think? Back scar or?
Yeah, back scar works. I feel like that'd be...
Because then it could also be like, I'm going to be such an ass for this,
Yeah.
but like imagine, you know like when people get punished and they get whiplashes to the back.
Yeah.
Like imagine something like that, like fire lashes to the back. And
Actually,
that's
wait,
what
I
happens.
swear, wasn't there a character who had that happen? There was I don't remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure there was a character who got like a fire whip to the back or something.
In Atla?
I think.
I feel like I vaguely remember that. But
I don't remember who or where, but I feel like I remember something with that.
So what if that's like how it is though? It's like some sort of insubordination. Zhao punishes him through lashes to the back with some sort of fire whip. And then he has to like learn how to work through, like still be able to perform, but like working through the trauma of the burns on his back. Stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. I can work with that.
I like that.
Yeah.
So Zhao whips his back, gives him fire scars.
It wouldn't even need to be personally Zhao, but Zhao made the order at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like Zhao...
Insubordination.
I feel like Zhao would definitely make the order for insubordination, like the consequences of it, but I can't see him like personally...
No, I feel like he's one of those characters who's going to see that job as being beneath him.
Yeah.
So he pawns it off on someone else.
Yeah.
The only one he really kind of goes full force on, like himself, is with Zuko.
Yeah.
And then he loses, is a sore loser, and then we see Iroh step in.
Yeah.
So we know Zhao was the type to at least give the order.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, do we want to say, because I know we said like that when Zuko was a kid, when these guys were kids,
They were buddies.
They were buddies. No, that's not the but that wasn't the thing I was talking about. He was a kid actor in the, what was it, Love of Dragons?
Yeah, Love Amongst the Dragons.
Love Amongst the Dragons. Now I'm going to hate myself for it. Do we want to say this kid potentially takes part in the Avatar play? And that's how Zuko and him are reunited, kind of?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, maybe they could also just come across each other on the island.
Yeah, that'd be fair.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as an actor, he would try and be a part of all the plays that are on Ember Island, but I can't imagine him like actively taking part in something that he knows is supposed to be about his friend.
So what I want to know is, do we want to give him a specific role he tried out for in this?
You know what? I bet you he tried out for Zuko, but then they were like, you're doing the wrong interpretation because he was trying to replicate his childhood friend rather than whatever the fuck they were trying.
Whatever character we give him now, it would have to be someone who we didn't actually see in the play.
Yeah.
Because obviously then they would already have a face and an idea of what they look like.
We could just say that he was like a part of like...
Maybe he got understudy.
understudied.
We could say maybe he
got
played.
understudied because then it's like he's part of the play, but we never actually saw him.
Maybe he's understudy for Zuko.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because like he was friends with Zuko as a kid.
Yeah, but as we were saying, he like auditioned for Zuko, but they didn't give it to him because they were like, "Oh, you're not doing the right interpretation."
You're not doing the right.
They told him the scar was on the wrong side.
Imagine he does the makeup for it on the correct side, and they're like,
"No, it's on the wrong side."
What the fuck are you on about?
I love that scene of the little kid running by Zuko, not
Your
realizing it's the
scar's
real
on
one,
the
and he goes,
wrong
"Hey, buddy, your scar's on the wrong side. My scar's not on the wrong side."
I love him.
Oh my god, I can totally imagine.
Oh
that.
yeah, that would be
And
so
I can
funny.
totally imagine. Okay, I can totally imagine our character running into the group during like halftime or something, because that would be totally funny. Just imagine running into Zuko during halftime in the middle of the show, and then it's like, "Oh hey, you're here.
Oh no way!
I'm
What are
sorry
you
about
doing
this."
here?
Yeah. What are you doing here?
Zuko, just
That's
for
after he's like a convicted felon, though. So.
No, wait. Hear
Still
me
a
out.
childhood
Hear me
friend.
out. Hear me out. Shows up right after the kid tells Zuko his scar's on the wrong side. Dude walks up and goes like, I at least tried to have it on the right side. And then he's just like, "Whoa, is that you?
Yeah,
Holy
like
shit!
reunion.
Holy shit!
Reunion.
No fucking way!
I want to make a cute
What are
little
you doing
comic
here?
of this now.
Reunion after 3 years of... It was like, what, 3 years of banishment that Zuko
Yeah.
had or something? Probably more than that, because we also got to consider the fact that the kid got sent off to war.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like we have them pretty flushed out right now. Do we want to try shooting for a name, or do we want to start
We
thinking
can
of like
try
outfit
looking
first?
for a name. We can talk about outfit while we're looking for names.
Yeah. So I mean,
I'm thinking like a fucking leotard for some reason.
a leotard.
No, I can totally...
reveal.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not talking
no.
about like a full leotard. I'm talking like... Because it's
I was thinking like maybe
because
some
it-
kind of robes or something.
No, because it's
or-
like because for ballet for men, it's like the leggings and then like a
Yeah.
tight shirt. So like I'm thinking like some sort of like high collar like sleeveless shirt with like just something
even like a bodysuit almost.
I don't know. I
Just
don't know
like
how to describe it.
referencing ballet.
I think like something referencing a ballet.
I was gonna
outfit,
look
but
up
I like
Peter
the
Kid
idea of him having
outfits.
sleeveless.
Peter Kid.
I'm literally
Look at-
stereotyping of Peter Kid outfits.
You also gotta remember that this is we also gotta go about the style of Avatar. 'cause
Yeah, no. What's
Avatar
coming
has
up is
really-
mostly just off-brand Lord Farquaad.
We also gotta consider that the outfits for Avatar the Last Airbender were like not the kind of outfits that we
Yeah.
have these days. They had like a whole specific style to them. So,
I'm actually just gonna look into Fire Nation outfits and see what comes up, because I mean that might still just give us an idea of an outfit to make,
yeah, go ahead.
even if it's not. Let's see what we got. I don't know about if we want to take a name that immediately means fire or something. I don't know if that's too cliche for Fire Nation, or do we want to just
I kind of just,
Starfire
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Starfire?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Sapphire
I just,
Sapphire fire.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
okay.
honest with you. I literally just pulled up Avatar name generator, firebending
yes.
name generator.
Oh,
Yes,
all right,
go
all right.
for it.
Let me see what we got. We got Aji, Taiza,
Tyza or Kaiza?
Taiza.
Tyza? All right.
Do you think this is too ugly to put in the gallery?
not really.
No, you're good.
We got Joru, Z,
Out of the ones you've said so far, I kind of like that Taya one you said earlier. That wasn't bad.
whoop.
Taya, make his last name Lee. Taya Lee.
Tylee.
Taya Lee.
Hang on. I probably should have copied and pasted that so I had it for later, because the second I hit generate new names, it like I can't find it again. T Firebender names male starting with T. I'm sure we could also go back and like listen to what the hell I just said.
Yeah.
What do we know what firebender names are inspired by? Like
Japanese, hang on, let me, what was it say? Fire Nation is the second largest nation in terms of its land. The biggest Fire Nation names are influenced by Chinese and Japanese names, as well as various other Asian cultures used throughout the Avatar universe. Yeah.
hold on, I'm gonna look up Japanese names.
Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be tricky for it. Oh no, I wasn't talking about the picture. I'm just trying to find stuff still. Most of what I'm seeing is just general outfits.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about this one. No. What do you
Kazu?
got? What?
Kazu can mean harmony or peace. It could be used as a standalone name or part of a longer name.
That's not bad. Although I feel like with his parents, I don't know that they wouldn't name him something like that when they want him to go off and fight.
Yeah, they would name him something like strong-willed or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna look up.
Oh, this is fairly decent.
Oh, I kind of like that. That would work for him.
This is
I
fairly
like
decent
that.
for something that I was
like
thinking of.
that. Yeah.
Okay, so like
yeah.
tight-fitting tank at the top, and then like slightly baggier pants with a thing around the waist.
Yeah, I'm gonna save
Yeah.
these images real quick. I'm gonna still look for stuff. Kyoka's nice. What does that mean?
It's strong, vigorous force.
I like Kyoka, but it kind of sounds more on the feminine side.
It also sounds too close to Kyoshi.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. There's an anime that I'm watching right now with my mom that has the main male lead be named Kyoka Kudo.
Ooh, nice.
Takaru?
Yeah.
Katsuki?
Katsuki. Oh no way.
Bakugo.
Katsuki, let's go Katsuki.
No,
Katsuki.
we're not doing that. This isn't a bad one either, but I liked the first one I had.
I like the other one better.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna save. I saved those images for.
That other outfit's also very straightforward, which I like. We could also change the coloring around a little bit too.
Yeah, we can change the coloring, or we can change it how it
Riku?
specifically sits as well. There was a.
Wait, Taylor, what one did you say?
Riku.
Riku?
It means power.
Does that sound too close to
Ooh.
Roku?
Yeah, but I think Riku's interesting because it also means to run.
Ooh,
Okay.
okay, so double meaning. All right, I like
I
that.
like Riku. How do you spell it?
R-Y-K-U.
R-Y-K-U?
So
R-I-K-U?
basically,
So one letter off, but that's fine. No, I'm
totally
good
down
at
for that.
I'm good with I
Do we
already almost said
wanna-
Roku. Sorry, I'm good with Riku if you guys are.
Did they have last names? They didn't really have last
I
names.
think only a couple, only like Toph's family did if you
Last
think about it.
name
I mean, not
fire.
even.
I don't think we need to worry.
Only
I don't think
Zuko's
we need to
family-
really
not even Zuko's
worry
family had
about
a last name.
So what was it? Riku?
Riku?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just
like
Riku.
that because you said it was like, what was it? Strong
It means power, and then it also means
to run away.
You
I
say
like
run.
that. Yeah, so this one, it's the same thing, but it just has a different scarf around the way. So it's like that.
Yeah.
But then there's also like you can put a thing like on his back, like a jacket or a robe or something.
Yeah. Send us those pictures. We could totally
I will.
use that.
I'll put them in the
As like a
shared
base.
drive.
Yeah.
But oh god.
I like that.
But yeah, okay, so we got Riku, we got outfit idea. Do we want to discuss more of like what he physically looks like? Because I don't think we've discussed that.
Yeah, let's get on to the physical
So
characteristics.
I feel like a main thing with firebenders is they tend to have long hair sometimes. It is a cultural thing. I was gonna say something about his eyes. Like I was gonna say like gold tends to be the common eye color for gold or brown. I think tends to be the common eye color.
Yeah, or like a good in between.
Or like a good in between. So
I'm good with that.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Just like firebender generic
I
eye
feel
color.
like we could have his hair be cut too after he leaves the army.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that would totally be a thing.
And then it would be slowly growing back, so I don't think it would be like fully grown back by
Yeah,
the time
'cause
he-
isn't
Yeah, I'm
Um,
almost thinking like kind of like Sokka's cut, not specifically, but where it's kind of like very short on the sides and then kind of starting to grow back on the top more.
I was gonna say something about the hair cutting thing because isn't like a whole thing like that was like a whole thing with Zuko and Nairo too during
that they cut it on
Their hair.
because it's something about being a deserter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being a deserter, and then also just for them, that side part of it was changing their appearance since they were on the
Changing
run.
their appearance, but it's like being a. I feel like a more important thing was like being a deserter or like taking charge of your own life, taking
Yeah.
a new path, stuff like that. So
And like that haircut was very generic in like the royalty aspect for her
Yeah.
family, so them cutting it off is like cutting off the royalty.
yeah, there was also a thing about there's that thing that goes around where it's like hair holds memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he cuts his long hair, it's like he's shrugging off all the trauma that he's gone through, maybe,
Yeah.
and like working towards a new life, stuff like that.
So then, what do we want the shorter cut to look like? Then is the question.
I don't know.
It could just be a kind of short and untamed, maybe, if you had like just cut it off. But it depends on where that happens and what we're doing.
I feel like it would definitely depend on when he cuts his hair. I feel
Yeah.
like he would cut his hair like after his What if they cut his hair?
Yeah,
like
that's
what if
what I
they
was thinking.
what if they started off cutting his hair and then he just restyled it to make it more like him,
Yeah.
kind of?
Yeah.
It's like they cut his hair so it's like out of the way when they do the lashes, something like that. You know what
or
I mean?
just they cut it because they know it's gonna make him look like a total
Like yeah.
Yeah.
deserter.
Deserter.
But yeah, I think it would probably be like a couple of months post when he meets Zuko again.
Yeah.
So his hair has to be like, can't be that long. It
What
has
if-
to be at least at most Sokka's length.
Yeah, what if
Yeah.
it's at most Sokka's length? We're talking like Sokka's length in like book 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's when he had it a little longer. I can like pull up a picture.
Yeah, but anyway,
Um,
yeah, do we want to go, what color hair do we want to go?
Most of them were typically
Most
brown
of them
or
are
black.
like brown or black. Okay, that's fair.
So brown or black?
I'm
Okay.
thinking black because I feel like his family would be like pretentious almost, and I associate that with black hair.
okay.
Because Zuko's family all has black hair too. I associate brown with more.
No,
like,
Zuko has, isn't it like one of those like stupid things that I have a lot of people in my that I know have where it's like it looks black but it's really brown.
That's
Kind
my
of.
hair.
That's your hair. So does my dad's hair.
But-
and then
Zu-
that's for the hat.
Zuko's hair, yeah, it's kind of like the black but looks a little brown.
I think
it-
that's just the
I
lighting.
think, yeah,
No, that's the thing.
The
though,
lighting
is
and the
your
way
hair
they show
wouldn't look brown in certain lighting if it wasn't already brown.
yeah, because if you like, I don't know,
think-
for certain images where it's like it
I
still
think
kind of
it's
looks
just
brown.
how they
That's
did
just
the
how it's
scenes.
lighting.
I think he has black hair.
Okay.
But
Yeah, because especially because like Azula's, I want to say, is more on the brown side, but like his father definitely black hair.
Yeah. Okay. So Azula has black hair, or Azula has.
Azula's is
Azula and Zuko
Now I'm questioning
definitely
it.
have
Wait.
the same color.
no,
hair.
yeah, no, wait, no, Azula's is black. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's definitely black.
Is Iroh's black?
Um,
Iroh.
when
Ozai?
he-
Is Ozai's black?
Yes,
Okay. Is their mom have brown hair? I thought their mom had.
I think their mom had brown hair.
Black hair. That's why I associate the black hair with nobility in terms of Fire Nation.
But
And
we
they
but
have
we
to
said
be wealthy enough.
No,
because-
Zuko's mom had brown hair from all the images I'm seeing.
that's
Really?
fan art.
Well, not fan art, but like that was from the comics. But like a lot of what I'm seeing
Fair
is
enough.
Maybe Zuko's mom had brown hair.
Yeah, I think she.
it looks more of a brown.
But yeah, no. But yeah. So I mean, we could do. I don't know. I'm picturing brown hair. I guess maybe we could do that as like a
Your choice type of
your
thing?
choice type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you do it. And then obviously he's gonna be kind of tan because I feel like that's a lot of the people in firebending. Like obviously because it's like they're around fire a lot. I feel like their skin gets a little tanned from the heat, stuff like that.
Do they?
Maybe Zuko
imagine
and
them as,
Iroh
like,
are
one of the
fairly pale
whitest
compared to a lot of the other
nations in-
characters. Yeah.
pale as fuck.
Are they?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, I wouldn't
Zuko's
say.
pale as fuck. Azula's pale
No,
as
I would say there's definitely some who fall on a bit of a darker side, but like I'm thinking more like Earth Kingdom tends to be darker
Yeah,
skin.
does
Earth's
it?
Kingdom
Yeah.
tends to
Alright.
be darker skin tones.
Okay.
Like I'm thinking like Haru's family, for example.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. And then
But
you
yeah.
said he has a burn scar on his back from the lashes.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that we need to discuss? So Riku, he's a theater kid. He's child friends with.
With
Zuko.
Zuko, parents wanted him in the war.
You good?
Yeah, you good? Why did your
Don't
head go
mind me.
down?
I'm having hiccups.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, but because if you didn't realize, like 2 seconds ago, there was like the long pauses I was having
Oh,
in
didn't
between
notice.
each thing I was saying.
And then we know that he got thrown into the war by his parents, and then
For
kind
some
of
reason was under Zhao's
yeah.
employ.
Yeah, unfortunately was under Zhao's employ or his armada, and then with subordination happening, Zhao ordered him to get, I don't know, a bunch of back whips on fire to his back.
Yep.
And now he's on Ember Island and he runs into the gang and reunites with Zuko. Yeah.
Well, he probably
Yay.
returns to Ember Island because I feel
Yeah.
like he's been on Ember. He was Ember
He
Island
returns,
before.
but I
Yeah.
don't think he returns to his parents.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
He's
no, I don't
probably
think so.
living
I think
on
he's
his own.
living with the acting trope, probably.
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 Odds are.
That's fair. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it, right? That's all we need.
I want to say that's everything. I can't think of anything else.
I can't think of anything else that we need
But
to
I
do.
love him.
That's
I do
great.
like
I think
him.
this is a great one.
I think this is a good one. This is very well developed.
You
You need to hear this because as soon
Oh
as
my
we
God.
get off camera, as soon as we get off microphone, Colin just made a joke. Colin, do your joke real quick.
With the way we kind of described him and went about making the character, I mean, between like his personality a little bit and it's like what he wears and does and everything else, and also being Fire Nation and a firebender, I guess you can say he's a little flamboyant.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All right, and with that, this has been an episode 7 of our podcast, Character Crashers. We hope you've all enjoyed our discussion of Avatar the Last Airbender, and if you're interested for more character media and creativity, go ahead and hit that follow button. And until next time,
Stay crashin'.